Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Blooms. I'm the author of two novels, Every Bone a Prayer and Where I Can't Follow, along with several short stories. And I've had the immense honor of mentoring Darian Bianco for the last several months. If you know Darian at all, you won't be surprised to learn that she came into the Author Academy with a plan. She knew exactly what she wanted to accomplish, and she was ready to do whatever it took to get there. Her dedication and drive were obvious from our very first meeting, but in her work, I also found a great sense of empathy and hopefulness and fun. The meeting of those two qualities, the grit to overcome any obstacle alongside a sweet and optimistic disposition, is rare. And it's part of what makes Darian such an extraordinary person and an extraordinary writer. And the fictional worlds that Darian create also reflect these same qualities. She isn't afraid to write into difficult or challenging material, but her fiction also reflects the joy, wonder, and beauty that can be found even in the darkest of times. She's a writer that I believe readers will come to adore, knowing that when they read a Darian Bianco story, they will be challenged, entertained, and inspired all at once. I'm honored to read an excerpt from the novel that Darian has been working so hard on these last several months. So here is part of the very first chapter of Chatter. Welcome to the Coffee Spoon, sir. May I take your order? The man who slid onto the bar stool across from her was haggard, eyes red, face sheened with old sweat. A smell radiated off his suit, which had likely been pressed and cleaned that morning, but was now rumpled, tie loosened. Ah, what a wonder it was to smell tequila at 1 a.m. in a coffee shop. Surprised I found a place open, this lady said, not answering Chloe's question. I was okay. She was used to it. I found that keeping odd hours allows for patrons to come in when they really need to pick me up the most. It was true. She'd been keeping evening hours ever since she took over this location. The night was the time that Chloe thought was the most peaceful, the most empty, a time when people liked to talk, and even rarer, a time when people would listen. The man grunted. He was tipsy, but cognizant enough to read the menu above her head, not that he really needed it. He knew what he wanted. She watched his eyes dart across the options before he said triple espresso. Chloe shifted into motion and then paused. May I offer you a glass of water with that, sir? Caffeine isn't actually the best solution when it comes to dehydration or a future headache. I'm sure you knew that already, but she trailed off. To him, it seemed like she was offering a choice instead of guiding ever so gently. There was a chance this interaction could go wrong. He could still have been drunk enough to take offense at her insinuation. He could have yelled at her, lectured her, or worse, left. But she had calculated correctly, and instead of doing any of those things, he melted. His shoulders lowered, sinking like a pair of heavy stones, and he chuckled. He looked much kinder with a smile. Ah, what the hell. I should make one good decision tonight. I'll take the water. She grabbed a small glass and poured from the pitcher of water at the end of the counter. As she was making his triple espresso, he was fully taking in the coffee spoon for the first time. He turned on his stool to look around, eyes traveling over the wooden beams on the ceiling and the golden, glowing Edison bulbs. Knickknacks and candles were set along the shelves built into the walls, and no two chairs or tables were alike. The air smelled of coffee beans, heat, and vanilla, leaving a heady taste on the tongue if you inhaled with your mouth open. Interesting place here, he said. Thanks, I appreciate that. He took notice of the ownership in the sentence, arching a skeptical brow. Is this your place? Her smile widened, and she nodded, inserting the portafilter to the group head and beginning the brew. Yes, sir. You seem awfully young to have a business all your own, he said. This was one of the moments when she used to curse her youthful appearance. Most people couldn't pass for business owners at 22. Luckily, she had perfectly crafted an answer for him. Well, it wasn't mine originally. My guardian ran this place ever since I was little. I basically grew up here, she explained, leaning forward and resting her elbows on the counter. He was always so structured and organized. He knew when every shipment of ingredients was coming in, knew every customer by sight, knew just how to run a business. He didn't tell me, though, that he was leaving this place to me when he died. The man's expression sobered. I'm sorry. How long ago did he? 5 years, she said. At the time, I didn't want it. The coffee spoon, I mean. I was too upset. I considered selling the place to someone who would turn it into something else, something that wouldn't carry the sting of memory. He looked at her, surprised, and she mentally reprimanded herself. She needed to talk like a 22-year-old barista, not, well, what she actually was. Y'all will just have to wait until the book is on shelves to find out what happens next and to find out what Chloe truly is. Congratulations, Darian, on finishing the Author Academy. I cannot wait to see what you do next.